Hello, welcome to today's tutorial again. So like we mentioned at the last class, we just introduced some of the shapes that we come across when working with FTP. Like just to recap, to go over it again, we have the FTP, the standard FTP, the standard SFTP. We also have the FTP version 2 and the SFTP version 2. However, this comes into play when we're actually working with Java, a Java secured channel. Just so basically, the operations are similar. The only difference is just the connection types, the connection, how do you set them up. So because of in this tutorial we're working with a light sail, we'll be we'll just would would be setting up SFTP because currently for our SFTP we have for our SFTP we have just sorry, let me just do this, remove this. For SFTP it's currently on light sail, so I'm just going to show you quickly what my server is like what my server currently looks like. So I'm going to be remoting into my desktop using putty. So if you don't know how to actually set up one, I did a tutorial that I would just is an extension because you can actually look at it as well. Just see how to set up a free server using Lightsail. It's like free within the first month. Afterwards, it's a very cheap subscription to help you along your training journey. If you're working in an organization, you can also leverage the SFTP of your organization, your sandbox. So currently, I have this Lightsail integration server. I'll just click on this and open. So I've already set this up. You can actually go through my tutorial. So I'm just trying to connect into my server. So basically, I'm in my server currently. I'll just expand this. Yeah. So I can actually see the folder I'm currently on, PWD, Prince Working Directory. So I'm currently in home/bitnami. So but however, to be working with as files, we'll be using a folder called, let me see the working, if I do ls, I will see the folders here that we can actually work it with. So if I do we post, so do we have two folders? So currently I cd means change directory into we post. So I'm currently in we post folder, the we post directory. So we can see what is inside currently, ls. So currently we just have some files, this, yeah, a lot of files that we don't understand for now. However, let's go and create we'll create something new. And we'll write it into this folder. So first of all, let's go back to our Boomi canvas. Let's configure our SFTP. So the configuration is pretty simple. So I'm just going to call this light sail server. So and because of what I'm doing in this is going to be a send, it's not a good. So I'm not trying to read from the server, I'm trying to save to the server. So I'm using send. The connection here is the interesting part. So what's my connection? I'm going to I'll just click and I'll just call this a light sail config. My server is currently on ports. I mean, on my server's IP is 54.206.50.247. I'm currently using port 22. My username and password is Bitnami. Now I don't have a password currently into this server because I feel for a training it's pretty secure, just using the key. So now I need to go and look for the interesting part here is using this key authentication. So I'm going to use this. I need to provide my key path. So I need to go to where my key is currently stored in on my system. So I stored my key in documents, keys. So I'm using this ppk file. I got the PEM file. I used when you get the PEM file, you can use putty generator to convert it to a ppk file. So I'm just going to copy this into this place. I copy the full path. So this is the reason why you need to actually use a local atom, so that this atom will be able to access the files that actually on your system. So I just need to look for a slash and the name of the file. So it would have been easier if actually you could actually like browse file, but with that functionality doesn't exist. I don't know why. So I'll just close and save. So the choose operation, we'll come back to that. So let's just go. I'll click on OK. So the next thing I will just want to do is do a I'll set up I'll do a message. I'll set up a message here. So our message will just have, it's something pretty simple. I would explain it. I just have a field called ID, comma, student name. No, let's use employee name. Okay. Yes. So on the next line, we just have things like for this we would have, let's say the guy's name is John Doe. A second employee would have James Blake. So what I'm just trying to create a simple CSV scenario, and I'm using a message because for this at this point we are not sending anything into this. We are not trying to send. We don't want to use a HTTP request to send data. In the next class, we'll actually see how to use a HTTP request and also map it, and it will also convert it into take it into a CSV format that will save on our FTP server. But however, we're just doing something simple. We just want to create the names of employees and actually save it to the server. So I just click on OK, and so this is done. I click on OK. The next thing I want to do is the next thing I want the next thing I love to do is for me it's from I do a branch operation here. So I split my steps into like, so it executes in two ways. I just call the split. So this will make clearer sense when it's all done. I now use I call the set property option. You have to use this in step 1. So I'll just call this set props. In my set properties, what am I trying to do? Is I'm trying to set the file name. I get what will be the name of the file. I'm going to click on this new. It's going to be I'll come to SFTP version. Yeah. So you can actually choose the file name directory, move to remote directory, move to directory. So I'm working with file name. I'll click on when you add it, yeah, you just click on OK. What happens? Yeah, okay. So yes, when I click on it here, I can now click on plus. So now with this, you can actually make it dynamic using a profile element or whatever. But for this, we'll just be calling this a simple employee.csv. So because currently we don't have this file on the server, so at the end of the day we should expect to have this file on the server. Click on OK. Then the next thing we want to do is to create a mapping. I'll just use a map, create a map here. So process, I'll click a map. And the map, what am I trying to do? I just want to convert this file that we designed earlier on with ID, and let's go back to be sure. We call the ID and employee name. So let me just put an underscore here to avoid mistakes. Okay. So I'm just going to create a new a profile here, and that profile here, and do the mapping simple. So all I'm just going to do is create choose. So I'm working with a flat file because this is a CSV file. So I'm creating a new profile. So under elements, I'm going to add two records. One is going to be the ID, and the second one is going to be the employee name. I'll just call this employee list. I click on save. So I need to also do this now, but however, for this I need to this also is also going to be, I can use the same format. Yes, and I use Boomi suggest. It's pretty easy to use that. So I click next. So my mapping is done. I'll just click save. I said okay. Everything looks perfect here. Okay. I have a problem with the configuration. Okay, I choose new mapping. Okay. So all I'm doing here is I just attach this, and I'll explain everything again so it's clearer to everyone. Yeah, so I'll just do this. So now when you do this, you actually have to make sure that when you drag both, they both turn green. If not, there will be a process, because if you are let me just add the return shape. I'll add the stop block. Then I'll explain everything. So basically what I'm trying to achieve here is, okay, let this process start. I created a message here. In this message, I split. I do a split operation. Okay. Now this is the first step, and this is the second step. Now we currently have the SFTP server, and we have an end. So what happens is it goes through this process, the first step. So it allows us to like set the file name. However, this process comes in afterwards with the actual data that helps us. That's how I actually work. I do my processing, because the branch helps us passing data, because after setting the file name, this connection will still be opened. The connection will still be opened. You can actually later put in your data into this. So I'm still, if you can see, I'm still having an exclamation sign. I see what's wrong with the configuration. Um, so I don't have an operation. So I'm going to add an operation. So I'm sending yes because we chose a send. So the next thing is we need to put in the file name. And if you remember, on our server we are working on this place. Let's see if we can copy that. Yes, but we are working in this folder. We underscore post underscore 01. Yes, so we say okay, create unique name if file exists. That's fine. If the file exists, it's normally the idea is it appends 1 2 3 4. That's how it does an increment for us. So I'm just going to call this um, CP operation. So I save and close. Okay. So let's see. I save this. Okay, we can test that process. Let's see if we can test this. If we click test, it allows us to test on. So because I'm using I'm using a file that is on my local system, it makes sense to use my local production system that I defined earlier on. If I use my cloud, it won't be able to pick up the file, the key to my SFTP server. So I'm going to be using my production, which is a local atom which we designed in the previous class. So I'm going to try and test run and see what happens. Whether we see if everything goes well, or if there's any hiccup, we'll see and we'll look for a way to troubleshoot it. Just keep our finger crossed. Okay, so it tells us authentication failed. Let us see why. Wow. So let's go and check. Go back. So I love this because we see real errors that happen in during projects, and we see how to fix them. So my host is 54 54.26.50.247. This is correct. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but if you're familiar with working with AWS, you actually see that there's a problem with my username. The username generally provided by AWS is not Binami, it's Bitnami. So I'm just going to correct this, and I click save and close, and let's try this again. Save. So local production. So and let's keep our fingers crossed and hope everything works out fine this time around. So everything works out well. So as you see, it actually comes and takes this, it picks this process as well. So the data is actually stored, pushed into this SFTP server. So let's just go into using PuTTY and see what we currently have. I'm going to do an ls. I'll just show the working directory we post. I'll just do ls. So as you can see, we just created this file. That's it, employee.csv. So this is how we can actually push data using this FTP or SFTP, or even the SFTP v2 commands. So this gives you an introduction of it. So later on we'll be taking this a step further. Just you will be sending JSON, and the JSON will be converting it into CSV. So that means we'll be using the process, we'll be using the map operation, the map shape, and afterwards we'll be also doing something similar to store this into this folder. Okay, thank you for this tutorial. If you have questions, feel free to comment. Get back to us, join the forum. It's very interactive. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.